Hello, welcome to my chambers. The word of the week is anchor. On Sunday is meant to be for spiritual. At least some of us should be every day. Uh, where we can get to practice also with working meditation. Because working meditation is what makes humans more intelligent. And I don't mean on an intellectual level, but a physical level, interacting with one another as a team. When you grow up being raised to be a culture person, regardless of having money or not, because that's like in my country, Venezuela, they say you don't need to be rich to be a clean person and have everything in order and harmony. It doesn't mean that you have to be rich. That is a very beautiful, noble class of the Venezuelans in general. You will always see their house very clean. And they clean the floors with water and the broom with a lot of pride and gratefulness. Also, it's spiritual because they're cleaning the energy. And some of them say out, out, out. And it has to be with superstition, which is also a form of believing and acknowledging everything that you have that is good as a form of maintenance every day, being aware what is in and what is out, what's part of you. So we anchor towards and with and let others anchor in our home when they are bringing goodness, or they're just simply being without being sickness or threat to your home. So whatever it is, a sickness will be a threat if you're aware of it. You already have let it in. What is sick, right? So we do also have sickening spiritual entities within entities of your systems of belief that are form as states of intelligence and share intelligence among your people. You have good intentions and goodwill, and you also have underground devious malevolence. And we know what are they based on and for what. You follow that path by eating others, you will have the devil eating you as well. So we anchor and make bonds. Let's remember the it's different to anchor than to make a bond, but it can be quite similar. The goddess Hera from the Greek mythology, and I'm talking about archetypes and meanings throughout history, as when they were castrated and taking of power to change the meaning of what they were originally as what they intend to do today with the libraries of intelligence. This is why it's so important for each culture to guard their own dictionary and anchor. So of course there's a threat that by having their own intelligence, they would again, by everything you give throughout all the generations, everything you give with investments for petrol, everything you give with investment from the discoveries of the industry and machinery, everything you have given in investment is used against you. Because these people, China, the Middle East, all these people in the colonies as well, want to hate you and hurt you because you're sharing with envy. And now we are on a stage where you're learning to administrate, so your people administrate as well. Let's see how your people treat you. So you will learn as well to be more aware, because you might know there's a threat that other people want to take your place, hate you for whatever reason, want to steal from you. Now in South Africa, they sacked their home. So many South African here that are my neighbors said now he can feel in his own skin what it is for all the people that were murdered and stolen from their homes. It didn't matter if they're white or black. That's what he created. The same way in Venezuela. That the poor have the right to kill and steal. So this will always happen when you are not administrating well for your people. That's what happened to France with all their parties. Yeah. Like in the same way, the Princess Catherine of Wales will be entertaining herself all day long to fight the wife of her brother-in-law because she wants to be better and praised with the money of the kingdom and the power of the kingdom and the mind of the future king. So it is not that people are working for others to have vanity and go out there pretending they're better just because they have the money of the press. And innocent people don't know the reality behind the scenes, where all this money is to be delivered and well administrated to take care of your warriors who are fighting. But there is jealousy, envy. They want to copy and think forward to eliminate you some time along. Because they cannot tolerate that you share universal love and had role play for a long time before being friends. Cannot tolerate another person to be or bring goodness, real goodness. Because what good is it to see somebody in a magazine or being put in your nose on internet when you have no interest in watching, when you already know the truth? Yeah. So many people will fight for the kingdom no matter what, as I did, but there's a limit because there is the energy cannot be put totally. It needs to be put totally in the percentage that the kingdom needs to supply the influencers. And I'm not going to be listening to a waste of energy that's being delivered in the wrong way because somebody is there blocking it for stupid reasons, especially having somebody so talented that could be looking at the character traits of the characters in the multiverse that started already from first generation. It is important what the public domain thinks, because look at what happened with Princess Diana of Wales. She wanted to find true love and get divorced because she didn't want to, you know, she just wanted to find her true love and be able to have a partner where they can talk in the same page. Those were the times also where many women thank her, because in those times, especially the rich women, when I grew up, would never do that. I would remain silent because of their family lineage and what they represented to the family and its patrimony. So they thank her because she gave up her crown to be the wife of somebody else, to be herself with somebody that is himself. Uh, Diana, on a spiritual level, before being born, was there are there are spiritual relations from love. She was related to William. So people, entities give themselves for a story to bring goodness and to support. She said, "I'll be her mother, and I will die young, so he creates more clamor for his behalf." And that is compelling for a child who lost her mother. Um, I am witness to this memory, many memories, many memories, because it takes a village. It takes a village to have a beautiful story where realities come to fulfill the others beyond oneself. I was very interested for the metaphysical and to express everything, and I was encouraged to also talk crazy, to not care what people think, so there is more clamor and laughter, just um, what the average mind gets entertained with, but then can break through to understand what's truly important, as we can take care step by step. There is no transition between months, as the 31st is Sunday, and on Monday starts June, which, by the way, is the name of Hera, the wife of Jupiter, Zeus. So Hera was the goddess of the bonds, bonds, and relationships. That was the meaning of the starting of civilization on a new era. So Hera, being a daughter, first daughter of Cronus, the god of time, which is the god of immortal time. We on Earth have another timing. And this is how civilization started to break down into all its organizations and systems, while the Egyptians just praised the unknown from the unknown. And you have other tribes around the world. Before Jesus came to break through that was established through all of them, the Roman Empire and the Jews, to bring forgiveness because people didn't know how to transform. They were just slaves and slaves of their own. You could escape from the Egyptians, but you would create slavery again because that is your old pattern. It's all ancient wounds. And it craves so much that it needs more from that ancient wounds. So the problem with the Jew is that they don't know how to forgive themselves or forgive humanity. Forgive what they did and what they do or how they do it again. The problem of each culture has its own character traits. You can heal it when you see where it has anchor. And there is a knot. And that knot is a trauma. And the trauma is not being formed to create a system or a link. It's a bond that's transmitting because of a trauma. Yeah. So they all belong to marketing. Marketing is business. Yeah. So from a long history. And they have moved around the world as well by marketing. And they have never had their own country because they continue to come to the same pattern without really understanding why they are in this war. You must understand that a war is not created only by one form of belief, but that relation they create. All right? So you will have stories and stories in the multiverse throughout. And when you feel them in the first person, people escaping from their own culture. Jesus was already escaping in the womb of his mother, Holy Mary, and she was raped from that king. But in her mind, she was still a virgin. and pure. And that sun could take him over. So this running away creates an ongoing story that continues to run away to find anchor or refuge, a state of mind as well that's stable, this paradise, or with the Messiah's uh, message that we need to know, we need to do, to follow in order to be, or to serve to be, but at the same time is running away from a past into a future. The Sufis and the Buddhists are more aware of being in the present. You have totally different stories. Buddha was born a prince and he left all that by his own determination, just by watching the dead flowers from the garden that were being taken and the misery out of his kingdom in the castle where he was raised. Because his father didn't want him to be a spiritual leader, he wanted him to be a king, a leader. Of his people, not of the transcendental. Because in those times, there were many people that would be just taken as a fool. When Osho came, he was more concerned to put spirituality and material and the material world together. You don't need to go away from the material. And of course, everything is here and now. So we can enjoy the spiritual and the material as well. So it's very difficult for people to lose everything in order to become disattached. In this new generation, you can become disattached when you are traveling slow with green energy. And enjoying the luxuries of nature and people of abundance that are anchored into another dimension, which is more profound and high. And everything you do is transmitted for all these people that see you to learn to do it themselves. But it's not that you're going to have universal money. You must give something of yourself first. You cannot just think that you're so special and chosen. You never really invested anything. You never surrendered anything. You're just there to be watched, all for you, to be watched. When I was working in McDonald's, I already thought any couple that's working in a supermarket or McDonald's with the minimum wage, they can save £3,000 or 3,000, 5,000 pounds and pick a place in the world to go and visit. 3, travel with green energy even if it takes time, to pick where they're going to do their mansion into a village. But they have invested, they have worked hard for 3, 5 years, or two, who knows, if they just went for a picnic and save more money by sharing a room together, going to work in a humble work, and going back just to make love to one another, watch TV, study the world, go out for a picnic, maybe go once to the movies a month on a day that's cheaper, to have a nice walk out of their own, or a coffee and socialize, go to the museum, have a walk in the city, holding hands, to dream, to enjoy the very moment that has brought them together. So, this is when a man and a woman become one in order to make their dreams come true into reality. They need this time and period to look, to dream, to dare, to feel trust. You also need this program where you can allocate the people that you need, if they like you and you like them, to create something together. Because people that work in McDonald's or in a supermarket have the capability to learn how to become supervisor and a manager. So in McDonald's is 5 years. In Tesco, you can learn in 3 years. So they already have their program of learning management. And it's the same management you do when you administrate the program of creating a village that already exists and needs also their human rights and tools and goods, as I mentioned, into a village where people can talk about getting together, what design they like to do, what architecture, how long will they commit as a village. And for that, you need democracy and freedom of speech. Not the democracy that you're watching right now in United States of America and most of the countries, because people have not studied to. People don't know who they vote. They're just so let's not talk about that right now, and find forgiveness for their pride, what they do to be there, because it's the last time. Trump might be able to reign for more years if there is world peace, and all the leaders from around the world help to create this technological global map, because they need stability and no one fighting to get them down. And the opposite party will be there for the same amount of time. That will be from 10 to 15 years. That is democracy, to show the people who they're voting for. And there is also a path towards communism, but communism can't be forced. People become slaves for the supreme leader. They lost their monarchy and their symbolism of their culture, where it used to be a cacique. All animals have a leader, more or less. They have more or less different types of leaders, but one. So it's easier to get all the information and get along. It is beautiful to have a culture that's healthy, can understand what they are here for. There are many cultures that do not know how sick they are because they are so involved in it. They are the sickness itself. You might have a leader that is gay and has been raped as a child, or has simply enjoyed boys. But women are there to give birth and make you look like a good husband. But that's part of their culture. While in other cultures, they just, you know, take children and kill them because what are you going to do with them after they grew up a few years? So don't judge others for whom you are as well. Find compassion towards yourself because also there are people that were born under a Christian domain and have followed their own demons. Trust me, these people can surrender to God and His laws for a reason. They don't love children because of their innocence, but they like to break a hole. So they think that it's better sex because it has more pressure and outrageous exorcism, but at the same time, they are creating pain. So there is a psychology of that. And once it's stretched out, it's worthless. So it is not because they like children, all right? If these children have nothing to break, they wouldn't go there, right? So it's not a shared adult energy that's mature to surrender together into the unknown. You can never do that with a child. And the child will have a rush of energy, but most of the time is asking to himself to let go. You're hurting me. You're too big. You're too sweaty. Why are you doing this again? And create also compassion towards the rapist. That you don't have any room to move and no one to help you. No one listens to you, and you are under a threat as well, which creates more. So these are the people that are also healing. When you look at them, but they hate women because they hate death. Because when you make love to a real woman, You will become a portal towards the unknown, that which never dies, which is the true life, why we are with ancient memory and understanding. You would hate your own sickness if you look at it. You will let go automatically. Create a new paradigm already. So I don't feel the word anchor. Words have meaning, but are you really tasting that happening? Or is just a word being spit in the air? No consciousness. You meet, you share words, but you don't really understand what's the whole thing around what you're doing. You say one thing and do another thing. That's this association of the rapist. And they might stop doing it because they have other things to do, but they continue with the rapist mind. Wars. In the old times, the military would pick the boys and rape them, but teach them as well to become cultured, to talk as kings and fight from an early age. And they will have orgies as well of men or with women, whatever. But the women were virgin, the temples, dancing towards God, or depending the culture towards the gods to download information. But it is poetic. If you're in a state of meditation, there were no monks before. There were high priestesses. That's where the sisters of sorority are being known from the Christian world with the nuns. But these nuns are powerless. There's the priest and the pope. You might understand where this comes from and why men have broken all the statues of women. When they were allowed in the temples to become monks, they started to do orgies there as well, breaking that which was pure to have true devotion, to understand the spirit of humanity and how it's moving from a transparent stand. Because if you're dancing 8 hours and you move beyond the body, beyond the mind, your mind, that's 80% always thinking in the same with the same. So there are studies that are being passed by from the schools of spirituality that belongs to the temple, and for that belongs to the people, and for that belongs to the military. There's the inside politics and the outside politics. To cast away all these women and make them a slave of man, they made Hera the goddess of marriage as a servant to man, when her husband Zeus was the little brother. And he had his title as the creator. They both created a symphony together where he was out of the temple creating the world with all its humans, semi-gods, and animals, transforming in his adventures and freedom to expand joy, new forms of life. The Jews, as the people in Babylon, believe in marriage as well to take care of the children. And Jesus was not like the Christians of today. Christians still have that happiness and celebrative Jesus like experience. You can see it in their musicians, the concerts, the dancing people, always around music. That was Jesus. He was a lover of life to transform. He was an alchemist and he also learned how to navigate with these tricks, the masters he grew up with in the temple. The word anchor divides in synonymous from mooring, secure, more, presenter, and support. Below is presenter. So I will start, and above is to secure, mooring. Mooring has a synonymous to hook, lower, stroke, sheet, anchor. Secure has a synonymous of affix, fasten, bolt, attach, chain. So it has much to do with bondage, depending on what degree you like to station yourself, your work, your administration. We cannot do anything without the universal coin as well. And that program. It'd be nice to see people from your screen doing their mansion into a village. You don't have to be there all the time. You can go every 2 years or every 6 months, whenever you want, and keep connection through internet. The other synonymous from support is backer, backbone, mainstay, comforter, tower of strength. From the other side, there is more. Come to anchor, lay anchor, let go the anchor, drop the hook. And below is presenter, anchor woman, anchor man, commentator, broadcaster, newsreader. So for this month has been precisely the vibe, landing as the inside, maxing the cover, multiplying. Oh yeah, because precisely was from the last, from precisely. I will say it again. It was incorrect because the transition from the last month. It was also being a transition. I'm just talking as an example for the multiverse. Not that it is like that when you're working with a month. That's meaningless. You have life with an infinite scenario that can loop with the scenarios you live in and work with back and forth, and that's it. It's not going to change from one month to another because of these words. But this is the meaning of life itself in the real world, and the essence of the scenarios in the multiverse when you're starting to move. As you can move faster and slower on a deeper level in this world by making a better world. You can see the overall picture. So, well, one transition can take a full week, but that split from last month and this coming month, that was precisely because you are moving through that direction that's precisely there. So I want to insist that what you're doing towards what you want in your design, you can talk about all the problem, and that is your solution, your goal, your affinity to move yourself with and for. So it's good to talk about all these problems that you want to, that create the drama and the anxiety and the worry. And perhaps it is compelling, who knows? Or something else that you're pointing towards. That's why leaders are leaders. They know what is the best. And that's the best, the way to go. So many people have fight and died for freedom, which is nowadays ridiculous. Freedom is nothing to be fought for, if you really think about it. Die. But of course, would you want somebody else to make you a slave of their culture? So, just better be a slave of your own culture. Because what's the point of just becoming, just everyone is fighting for the same reason, right? So, uh, unless you know what slavery truly is, you're a slave to your family, your systems of beliefs. Is it really a true love? Are you transforming together? Are you allowing the world to shine by itself, the world around you? You want your children to follow the same that your parents have manipulated you with. That's another form of slavery within the family. and it has a very low frequency of energy when you separate yourself from society and it's just family and business. So, as an individual and the collective energy as well, it's not going away from true love, marriage. It's not going away from your family, but you're also in synchrony with the collective and yourself beyond the selves. Because you cannot go beyond the self if you don't have a self, a sense of self. And it is the first generation where people can enjoy themselves and might be judged as narcissists. So it's good to understand yourself, your cover, what composes you, how you dress. You can change that many times, but you will be known by that and refer towards that. That's what you like to do. That's what you've chosen to do or belong or support. But you can let go of that. Be creative with it at the same time. Like a dancer that's the music itself and is not performing or rehearsing. It's another state of being beyond the being, with the being. There are many people who do not know whom they are. They're afraid of what people say and want to manipulate others by these judgments. And they think they are better than others because they're doing what everybody thinks is judgmentally better. But at the same time, they're just sucking the energy of people's thoughts and beliefs and contributing to mediocrity of being, because there is more to do than that. So if you want girls to believe that they're going to find something like that in their life and are going to be castrating themselves on their partner and have a dead relationship with their family, like if that's okay, you will have a society walking like zombies because they have not come to giving yourself. So all that which is maybe secure is a gel that's creating more sickness. And you have all these men who pretend to be married, creating political systems to steal children, to rape them, using all these gaslighted women who still believe in the dream of being married. So let's see if they like you because you're famous or rich. But no man would like to be with a woman that's superior than him, unless it's for money or fame, which is also disgusting. That's not the type of love you like to be if you already know the self and can go beyond the self. So when we get married in the Christian church, we give ourselves to God and become a bridge to God to serve humanity. That's the meaning of my last name, Placencia, to serve, to please God and please humanity. There's a plaza in the town of Placencia with the meaning of Placencia in Latin, and that's what it said in Latin. When I was a girl going to church on a Sunday, like today, the priest explained the communion with God as a marriage. So it's not for yourself and your family. So everybody thinks you are perfect and you suck the energy of the people from your investments in yourself. Right? And you have many women who are envious because they think to be better with their husband. And you can have them fighting forever from nations of the world as well and not supporting what is for the people. You have many wars just for that as well. Like when the royal family did not support the Tsars in Russia because the ugly sister was sent to United Kingdom to marry future king. And she was jealous of her, the most beautiful sister, who was sent to marry the future Tsar of Russia. And when they asked for help, it was the jealous woman who manipulated. Because what power does woman have but to manipulate behind the scenes? Because they make man feel guilty so they can get away with it. It is not the way to rule what these frustrated and castrated women do behind the scenes. So now we have to deal with the problems in Russia and what the British monarchy might think that is good with their forms of beliefs. As in Highlander, the movie, there will only be one at the end from all the kings or the immortals. This is a belief. Yeah. From all the kings in Europe. So we need also to break that system of belief to stop hurting others and creating a support system of belief that by not supporting others, you make yourself stand up. Because you might not have the Tsars in Russia now, and they're dead, maybe forever. Does not make you a better person in the world stage. Now we have to deal with communists of all sense who hate and are waging wars, killing so many people. They have killed millions. And all that because of jealous, envious women in power. And the story repeats. When I tell you there are women that are witch from past lives, but you have different types of witches. You can witch is a woman that's been so hurt from a true love that it had and was waiting for its beloved to return or ask for her because it believed that love was the love of her life. And after decades waiting, being abused by society, the world around her. Abused. They can abuse you if you know who you are, your love is pure and your mind can't be taken away unless you fall into that type of abuse and you think that's the way to do to others because it's done to you. But there are many women who, after being so hurt by society, still knowing whom they are, not manipulating anyone, they just started to wish for death because it killed their lived in love and would wish the other person also to die because it killed her meaning of life by never returning and getting to know by other that had found its life through many ways. So the realization is murdering. So all these fairy tales that women believe from life after life of true love and eternal love can also become a sickness to women. The psychology of woman and the memory the sticker carries in the soul. Because you have the spirit that can die and the soul which never dies. You carry the sickness as well. But there are women who are witches that make their way through manipulating and stealing people's husbands. These men are already sleeping with everyone, anyways, and they love the free life of loving and making love. That is good for those who like to do it on an universal level and responsible. But what happens is that you also share patrimony and money, and that is a problem. So you take from one and give to another. This happened through ages. There were many women who were married and never had power to handle their economy and creativity. And this man will use the money to spend it out. Sometimes women, until today, as in my life, had to beg for money while this man take the money away from the children. It doesn't matter if you had a car accident or not, and your brain was not functioning well. A person that had a car accident and had a good backbone of its memory would not do that because it's even if it's a shock within the neurons and cannot have deep thought, it would still not do that, giving the memory system that's been there, not just in the brain, but in your quantum memory system. That's a eternal through your generations. So that this is the healing is taking a consciousness in the present of your actions and your thoughts. That's healing. If you go to a doctor, you go to a healer, you will create this sickness again because it's pathological. You'll create it again. If you're a Jew who only believes in the Jews as the chosen one, you're becoming exclusive only to these people, you are creating other people to hate you as well. Or because you believe that only men or the whatever beliefs, you're creating this war within, outside, no matter where you go, no matter how far you go. So the Holy Land does never belong to the Jews. There were so many cultures there, and the Christians as well, who fought for the Jews. Unfortunately, sharing the Bible. Because if we don't have these wars, the Jews didn't go out beyond themselves to give themselves to convert the people, to tell stories with their people and die with their stories as well, and then bring sense to the stories of Jesus and his disciples and all the people that die carrying the word. Because there is goodness there and there is magic through your words and our doings together as a form of devotion. The Jews have used the Christians to labor their money, fight for them, while they invest on wars as a business. But they also sell carpets and furnitures and leather and all sorts of commerce. From all the commerce, my mother would say, war is the number one moneymaker. What people want more than power? If you understand how war is being played to also make other people fight, to earn their terrain. Even the people in Africa, they shouldn't be fighting for their terrain and killing each other, creating more misery. So there are Jews who love the spiritual realms and have gone beyond their own, studying other forms of spirituality. You will find a great hatred towards women and a great trauma from their mothers. They all carry this mother complex of a victim woman who gave everything to them. It's very difficult for them to love women as one. They want to be trapped by the same monster. And there you go. The same way everyone, right? So if you have administration that's spiritual, you also have priests that are castrated, but your rage is compelled to have sex naturally. It's better for a priest to become Anglican. You have your relationships instead of going to children. Because if you're working with children and creating more orphans, it's natural you get enraged. You get enraged also with another nun. And there is sin, but it's the natural pull of the body to love another physically as well. Very sad to not be able to hug. It's so beautiful to hug. So it's a horrifying experience to become a nun, and a priest, and a Buddhist monk. It gets very twisted. It's not that you're dancing towards God and enjoying your body. You're just loving through the senses, a form of altering your prayers, creating a spiritual intelligence beyond yourself. But there is a sort of lesbic relationship through the sisters that might not be so sexual because the organ is inside. But there is an attraction. Or not so in a sexual way, but on still on a carnal way, to hug one another and breathe together. We love each other as one. In the same way to man, something gets distorted because the nature of human is to have make love. So celibacy can come through nature, through many life, many life. For one life, if you get really tired, it becomes a poetry. You make love through art and spiritual sharings from your stories with the other and the stories being given from the divine throughout history. So these are synonymous that are for anchor on a spiritual level. Core spiritual synonymous, synonyms, rock from Deuteronomy 32.4. And I want you to just relax, go away from your mind and critical thinking that's rational and is always rationalizing, giving a portion, a ration here, ration, this is that, this is. Just let go of analyzing. You don't need to know what is what to protect yourself. And just let it sink in the meaning of these words. What does it happen when these words resonate within? Was part of your scenario? Because we're still on the last day of the scenario for the meaning of anchor. What has happened through you throughout your lifetime? How you have commute with others in the scenarios given as a child, becoming an adult, beyond what your parents taught you, what you found on your own. And perhaps your ancestors as well that still have a grip on you the way you are or you were. So you look at it from a state of consciousness without being involved with it. Just look at it. And I'm just going to mention the meaning of these words. Just look at it without judgment and allow the information to pass through. And taking awareness in the present time. So you are welcoming its stories in the subconscious and unconscious to become conscious by just looking at it. So once again, the core spiritual synonymous rock, fortress, refuge, stronghold, foundation, shield, sanctuary, metaphorical variations, bedrock, cornerstone, safe harbor, true north, keel, action orientated terms, rooted, um, Colossians 2/7, grounded from Epesius 3/17, steadfast, Hebrews 6:19, unmovable, 1 Corinthians 15:58. The most direct biblical equivalent to the anchor is Hebrews 6:19, which explicitly calls hope the anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast. If you want to narrow this down, let's go through other cultures. All right. So we'll go through the Hebrews, Islamic, Buddhist, Hindu, Native American, African traditions of religions as well. I feel the pain from so many temples being destroyed as well, and places to unite peacefulness. The savage throughout more than 2,000 years, let's say since the civilization started 2,700 years, or would it be more? They've been fighting. From the Hebrew Jewish tradition, Mizgaf, stronghold, high tower, used frequently in the Psalm 18:2 to describe God as a lofty, unassailable place of safety. Sur, rock, foundation term for God. Sur Israel, rock of Israel, signifying absolute immutability and timeless permanence. Ohen, anchor, while the physical word origin appears later in Hebrew literature, the concept is tied to bitachon, absolute, unshakable trust in the divine. Let's remember that the Jews originally from Babylon, but also from Egypt, and who had so many rocks put together, as the Egypts, the Aztecs, the Incas, put other people to carve these rocks and carry them from a divine order. That might be alien to this world, but also believe on a quantum energetical level. That is Scott. I do remember God among all the spirits who gave themselves on every life. I remember there are also those who have not seen God but gave themselves to the story. They use God as part of themselves to feel powerful in a mission. but they forget whom God released, what for, in the way. From the Islamic tradition, al or what al wutka, the trustworthy handhold, the ultimate Quranic synonym for spiritual anchor, Surah al-Baqarah 256. It represents a bond or handle that never breaks. Also, Rasijat, firmly fixed mountains, using the Quran to describe how mountains anchor the earth, metaphorically representing how faith stabilizes the human soul. Another point, istimsak, clinging firmly. I was feeling that for this week there was no real anchor. I didn't really feel it. I thought it was grasping it, not clinging. And I was looking around all these words and within me. It seems like begging without recognition. No matter how important you make it seem, and triumphant and goodwill for the good of the wall. From any side you look around, it's like a fear of judgment in your own people because you've always been doing the same. So, how can you let go of the old by doing something new together? That's a grasp. It's not even a glimpse what I feel. And clinging is like begging firmly. It cannot be your way when you are coming short to land. So because if there is no transition between 2 months, we might have to bring the scenario and the vibe together as one. Yeah, the beginning and the end. You start with the vibe and you have live a scenario. If you're more aware, you see the scenario already before you enter. You have studied that scenario. If you're a good role player in the virtual reality, you study 3 months or at least 3 days. Yeah. Just don't go there like an explorer. You have to more or less know what you're dealing with. What is there? How are you going to step in murky waters or another culture, your jungle, a desert? In roleplay is the same. With some characters are always in the same scenario and group within the verse. It's part of role-playing virtual reality. It's not that because you have a universal understanding, everyone is going to be the same. No, that was a mistake of people to think that. and they wanted to put the world together as one. You're becoming mediocre just to one cult without seeing the beauty this world has by their own sense of property to take care of it. And this for everyone to appreciate from one another what they have and what they bring as they speak. So for that is compelling. Cannot be next week. My work with Anchor as we get closer to each other and the reality that you are moving towards. Yeah. While taking care of what you already have. And we might bring compelling, that's compelling to the insight, unless you like to leave it in the vibe. I need to feel it's been a step forward, not just talked about, and is lingering or clinging firmly without a stage. And this is a month of the stage, the scenario, the space, the frame that's correlated for that act in a space. You see that in a picture, you see that in a book by its title. Each title has its scenario. And you see that in the movies. And you will have a transition among scenarios. And you have that in role play virtual reality. Not the programs that are being made for you to follow. This is our initiative for the multiverse, which is still pending. So we could just move on, and because if you're putting 2 months within one scenario that has no transition but has two scenarios. So I like to see people and listen to people, but there is a split of reality because I'm not making any money to have my children and my human rights. It doesn't matter how much I can enjoy the river or walk 3 hours to get food and carry all this food, like the woman in Africa and the girls carrying water. It doesn't matter how I dress, if I look fancy or not. My feet hurt. And it's not the way I like to take care of my body and life or be with people that are in that way. I wouldn't give them any power. What is what you got, right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna see them creating content that gives a new game, they share, but at the same time, they're distant, doing the same old thing. I like to hear something new that was compelling from Tucker Carlson and Ian Carroll. I could not say much this week because I'm trying to get hired to get money to get my kids. These 5 years have not worked for me or for anyone because there is no communion, there is no engagement, there's no anchor at all. I don't see the money, I don't see the honey, I don't see the energy built, I don't see it coming together. Today, Tomorrow is not today. Let's be honest. United Kingdom should not invest. It should be giving money because it's the one who has put all its energy. There's an evil will to help the world come together with peace. You might go out there and talk with the revolutionaries who have killed all these people that have more money. You are not really talking for peace. If you hate another country or another class and then go out there like if you are talking for the poor, you created more poverty by taking away for people to learn to administrate. You can only learn to administrate by learning from others. With others. They cannot be exclusive, hiding away. It's good to be with people and give others the chance to administrate as well by learning from you. So this is once again a cycle of sharing, working meditation. And thanks to artificial intelligence as well, that will make it much more easier to get rid of the middleman, corrupted. All of you are corrupted. So you give power and expect abuse until they learn. As Adam and Eve, give them power, just expect people to abuse. Yeah? Children that do not know how to administrate have never made a mistake. They become adults, grown up in a bubble. So they will abuse because they have not learned what it is to have an administrative pursuit. And you learn that as a child. And this comes from family lineage that has been thought to take care of its people as well. Administrate in their behalf, to not mistreat them. You don't go there and fire everyone because you want more money. That's the newly rich. You will have thought ahead already, knowing how long it takes, because you never had anyone from your family telling you it's going to take 300 years to build this castle. 500 years. You just don't go there and put explosions in a tunnel to kill all the workers after the tunnel's been finished because you don't want to pay them money. It's been done. These are people that just have power and they're meant to abuse because they don't have a long term thinking. Get and kill, get and kill, get and kill, and move on, take from others, move on. This is people like Donald Trump. There are many people that's been all the time throughout generations working with this mechanism. If you have a techglobemap, you would see that immediately from each industry, where the money is going, where is it investing, and how the stock market is being manipulated as well to take from. All these politicians from the United States are as abusive as just learning to manage. But democracy was never made for a shit show so people vote on you. An inside eternal war of bringing dramas to see who's more innocent and good, make the other party. There's so many people suffering, doing illegal immigrations, going through who knows what. If you don't have papers and you don't have rights, horrors, children being raped because the mothers have nowhere to go and they're threatened to be deported. Of course, I would go under a tree with my children, but they would take your children and deport you and they will be raped anyways. Horrors, creating horrors just to be voted. Be careful of the left party, but be careful also of being too triumphant of the right. Because the right doesn't have any empathy for humanity as well. And all those people didn't grow up learning to administrate in behalf of the people that make them be who they are. They don't have a long standing point that's immortal for your kingdom, for your nation. And yes, in the past they have abused as well, taking everything from their people. That's why people got tired. But now they're creating a new form of slavery where you can just entertain with a little bit. Keep entertaining yourself and others, and you will be following their slavery. Because there is a school in the elite who has fought for the freedom of expression. It was not Elon Musk buying Twitter for freedom of expression. He would have never brought it. He is in one side saying what the people tweet about, and in the other side shaking hands for money. That's just to entertain the people. But the elite started to be afraid of Elon Musk while he was creating his military against the media, against the old school, the very school that gave him the money. But he's not the most rich person in the world. The most rich person in the world, you don't know. I don't know. Because if you were that rich, you wouldn't want to be known or be found. The rest are for entertainment, to make you believe there is goodness and greatness that cares. But each generation is different. They wanted to control the narrative, and they still do behind the codes, including Elon Musk, because you can make it invisible to not be seen. You can delete, change the words of mine, of anyone. You can put that somebody said that from an unknown domain on the year, blah, blah, blah. That's just made. It is 12:12 p.m. Now, if you've been raised understanding what is freedom and that people can have responsibility for their freedom and learn to administrate instead of being bitter about others administrating for them only, They will invest harder. They will pay homage. They will anchor to their own doings, not just walk like zombies to do their job, because nothing else is required. Who cares? Most of the average people are working like that. So there is no consciousness, no thinking. Hey, this can be better being that like that on an individual, independent level. So people are not fully awake, working, just passing by, carrying things, not seeing the goodness in the transformation that we can be better. That takes effort. Then you value it. So what are you anchoring with and for is the question. So I love to be with my family and see a happier world that has fairness with people's consciousness because they have the ability to do it and they can see it in others with good leaders that trusts in them and they honor to return the trust given. But what do you know if you've never done that? You just come out there and start talking. That's it. From monologue to one-on-one. You will see many dimensions being shared as many sports exist that are created by groups, as many dynamics there exists. When the percentage is giving, so it rolls. So I need it. I need it. I need to hear that it rings. It has a ring. Like that word, but you don't really feel, you can't taste that word really. If you have a lot of consciousness, doesn't mean that you have to know the words or what adjectives they are towards that word or what synonymous. You don't have to know all the words. More or less, white is white. However light it is or not, we can understand each other. And if you don't see that's white, you can't cheat any culture or human. I don't feel it. I don't taste it. I don't see it. I can read it and hear it. So people are lingering to anchor, is what I feel. There's a glimpse grasping on it. I don't see the scenario. Like, yeah, it's good to talk about it. Great, fantastic. We'll continue to talk as we are then, without its original movement. And in reality, is to flow as you anchor in and out and go back and just flow. Let the flow be. All right with one another, respecting your boundaries. From the Islamic tradition, istimsak, clinging firmly, the spiritual action of holding tightly to the divine rope, ha bliha, for safety and guidance. Clinging firmly. That could be also having a grip on it. Gripping. All right. Buddhist tradition, refuse sarana, refuge, refuge. Dharana. Remember that many monks ran away from China because they were destroying their temples. So they worked for the empire of China only. The ultimate spiritual anchor in Buddhism, found in taking refuge in the triple gem. The Buddha was the teacher, the Dharma was the teachings, and the Sangha, that's the community. I deeply love what Osho taught me in India, also about Buddha and the many masters and children of God that he has sent from Asia and the Sufis. As Jesus, why so many people follow the teachings of Jesus? What was so compelling that so many people gave their life? There's no other culture in the world. But the Buddhists also have beautiful stories with Buddha. The Bodhi tree, that means tree awakening. Bodhi means unity. Everything that's related to the body, when they say body chitta, body this, body that, is talking about the unity of that entity as a form of intelligence. So it's a form of life as well. The yogi and the yogas. The body tree, the tree of awakening. So the body of the tree. Because when you have a body, is awakened, is alive, it's meant to be alive. It's meant to be totally united as one form of living. And this form has a spark of light and is awakened. So that is the body for the yogi, the yogas. So represents the ultimate immovable center where the Buddha sat. He sat. He sat once, anchoring his mind against all illusions. In the original stories, he was accepting his desires. But then, when they made it into a religion, he was against, because they needed to exclude society instead of understanding it as one without divisions. Yeah, this is thought by Osho as well. Aditana, determination, unshakable resolve, the mental state of being anchored so deeply in purpose that no external force can sway you. From the Hindu tradition, Sanatana, eternal, timeless, the unshakable eternal foundation of cosmic law. Sanatana Dharma, the anchors of existence. The scientists explain that from all the religions, the closest to translate science is from the Hindu right? This, I mean, this is the only reason I took crystal meth was to read science books. Oh, Friday and Saturday for 1 month and a half or 2 months. Ah, I could understand easily how they explain it. Scientists have always tried to convert the meaning of creation through the mythological stories in order to understand its origins. And I'm not going to tell the stories. If you're interested, you can do your own spiritual research as a seeker. Meru, the cosmic axis. Mount Meru represents the spiritual center of the universe, serving as the central anchor around which everything revolves, as the sun to the solar system, and Jesus to Christianity with God. So, from the Latin American traditions, the sacred tree, tree of life, a universal anchor across many tribes, such as the Lakota, representing deep roots in the earth and branches reaching to the Creator. Also, the axis mundi, center of the world, the sacred fireplace in a long house of the center pole of a sun dance lodge, anchoring the community to the spiritual realm. Another, ancestral earth, the profound spiritual connection to the land itself, acting as an unmovable anchor for identity, history, and medicine. From the African traditional religions, ITR, we learn so much with artificial intelligence, but you still need to have your own studies because there is much more than artificial intelligence can give you when you already have studied from the books yourself throughout decades and practice with those practitioners as well in whatever field you've chosen to be. Ashe, axe, Yoruba, the divine life force and energy that stabilizes, sustains, and breathes power into existence. It is a spiritual anchor of all action. The baobab tree, often viewed as a physical and spiritual anchor, a sacred meaning place, a sacred meaning meeting place, connecting the living, the ancestors, and the divine. Another one is the ancestral chain, the unbroken lineage connecting the living to the spirit world, serving as a protective and stabilizing anchor for the community. Okay, so we'll see what is this next month. So is in a scenario within a scenario. Yeah, there are two scenarios in one. I don't know what is it gonna be. So compelling is a beautiful word as a vibe. Um, we won't need to speak about anchor again if we already have tuned with it totally. Because it cannot be that influencers anchor and others don't. There's no port, soil in commune, right? So we have compelling words for this next month of June, which closes half of the year. That is abundance, connection, communication. Communication is not as connection because you can have a connection, but if everything is just twisted or nothing is being communicated, it's just noise on and on to fill up a container. It's not really flowing anywhere. Spontaneity. Spontaneity is like a higher intelligence of yourself that doesn't need to know how you walk because you already learned how to walk. So your brain is operating on another dimension and it can walk by itself. That form of intelligence already has matured. So you can act more spontaneously as when you have learned a dance or anything you have learned. Strength, playfulness, confidence. Yeah, I was listening to Right Underbelly, this channel. Um, listen a lot to nearly every chapter. So they were talking about regaining their confidence after being raped as a child, because many men and or boys have not expressed about this. Uh, Women have been judged as victims when they express about that. So I find it pretty cool that he wears a shirt. I was raped as a boy or something like that. He's talking about it to bring consciousness to parents as well. So yeah, confidence is good to regain your confidence, especially after going through wars, after battling so much, to think you are going to be stronger if you rape others, if you create more viruses, so people are stronger and resilient. So there is a lot of false confidence that's being taken from sucking other people's blood. You can see that when it's not really created by the self, beyond the self, from the beyond to the beyond, from others to others. There's a distinction there. That's fake confidence. I would say what words people like as I have to hear. I like this word because of that. Because there are so many words being talked together. That's just like a gibberish. Yeah, I can understand what you're talking about, but it's not like you really want everyone, like, this is your mantra you like to work on what is cosmic. So, well, uh, um, inspiration is a word that I like to work on when we're inspired with one another, because we might have a connection, but we lost inspiration. So I'm not hearing sincerely. Did you like this word? Yeah, yeah, but you're not saying fully this word as a word. So I'm not really getting it. It has not anchor to shore. You might want to drop the anchor and are with the anchor there in your boat. You're still lingering there near the coast. There's a pirate trying to find a cave in the shore to not be seen. All right, this is Nordic psychology because they have a lot of piracy and pirates communication to understand when they take to sell among them. Magic, worthiness, vitality, love, impermanence, gentleness, generosity, engagement. We already did power in this part of the year. Well, we have here this they are words put together that don't mean anything with one another. Good things to come, story of my life, personal growth. Everyone's a teacher. Positive thinking. So positive thinking for me is being aware of what's very negative. Yeah. It doesn't mean you are gaslighting or ignoring the undercurrency that has been invested on and participated to create damage, as to take over when so much has been given. Okay. And well, sanctuary would be like a temple, or would be the meaning of mansion into a village. Those the churches or temples or of all these spiritual buildings will welcome us to enhance that village instead of creating a 15-minute city or a field or a field. Thank you, Siri. I said city. It is true that people need to be educated to manage money. So learn and pass it on. All these managers, all these people should not be stuck in one restaurant or supermarket. And supervisors, they can go on not to help manage more, allowing others to become managers and supervisors as well. Should be an ongoing movement, yeah? Or maybe the industry likes to invest and send these managers. So they have the supermarket as well. That will be very interesting for those who like to do so. Or McDonald's. I mean, the vegetarian burgers are really tasty. I love it. I have free ground meat because I pick up food. So I will eat what existence gives me. because no one is giving me anything, right? So don't expect to have anything if you don't give me and what I represent anything. Yeah, I should be with my children. They should have never been taken out. For those who are hacking, you know what they say in the phone, how these middle man and woman are. They mistreat people like me who are calling for help in these organizations because they feel superior to have this salary from the donations or the organizations they're being supported. And they won't help you. Not all of them are the same. They will say, why don't you write a book? Why don't you wait they grow up? And they're being paid to help you. They're being paid to be reunited and give you the information and find the right channels. There's a great stigma around workers of government who take children. And there are many people who will give their lives to think they're superior or money and not do anything or what matters most. I'm aware of how many social workers have been changed from position because they tried to help me. The number is endless when you look at the system itself. I'm not saying that every human being is bad. In the contrary, those who obey to the taking of children have higher positions. Then Paris Hilton is invited to the Congress of America to talk in behalf of foster families. Because she's another idiot who just became famous to become famous, taking drugs, just having party, being fucked, being raped, and then treating man like shit because that's what she relate with. Day one, being raped. So instead of having these places where they put children that are brats or they have no sense of authority with their parents because they're too busy with their parties, following their power, and they neglect children, or because they don't have parents, or they have other people taking over, destroying their foundations to live, destroying women, using them. It's only 100 years of liberation of women. It doesn't mean it does exist. They're still being slaves to not be pushed down. Just in the days of yesterday, would be put on a madhouse, being judged as a witch, or that is neurotic. All the gay people call women neurotic because they learn to hate women from an early age while being raped by men. They will tell them stories of witches. You will see all these stories that were made for children by pedophiles. You will understand very good the story behind it. All these evil women. I've seen it myself as a nanny governess from a father telling these stories in my face, teaching her daughter indirectly to not trust in women as a threat. So the man who have not healed, because some man, it doesn't mean because you were raped you're gonna become a prostitute or gay in order to revenge and hurt yourself in that cycle of abuse, where you have pleasure, money, and more abuse, because it's a pleasurable abuse. You are not creating life for yourself or beyond yourself, for the community. You're just creating that cycle that might seem is cool, but deep down is hollow, empty, and has nothing to trust. And you can see it again and again when it disengages, because he's using that, right? This is very dark psychology. Dark, raw. Not everyone matures beyond that childhood. You will see them as adults, but they're still on that stage. They will dress a lot, want to make a lot of money to hide it by the order of abuse, while being abused as well, as if it's not something normal. So when you disappear with a woman and a man, and you can have mature as well because you have loved your friend, and maybe it's the same sex, but you have gone beyond that. Not because you hate man or woman, right? Because it has nothing to do with sex, but with sex, through sex could be or not. You cannot become anything that's divine if you hate the other sex or another. You can hate someone so they hate that part of themselves. But that moment of hatefulness is full of joy because it's divine rage to rip off that sickening entity out of yourself. I will leave you today from the word anchor. Thank you for sharing that which is anchor. Um, these are the words of this month, precisely, landing, maximizing, maxing, multiplying. Because multiplying is not maximizing, yeah? Anchor. So, from what land you come, what land you're going, what dimension are we touching? There's not just words and a vibe, yeah? So, you can mention anchor as many times you wish for the next month. So, it becomes mature in you honor the which you anchor and are anchoring with, without, right? You cannot anchor in one place if you left the other. You might return, you always have that space, but you're anchoring right now, right? This is not, I'm dipping my toes in the water. Oh, I'm just here with the anchor to be anchoring. Oh, no, you are landing precisely here. This is where you're going. Just get lost into it totally. Dive with it. Just serve with it. Um, let me know. So it's compelling. So yeah, let's move next week for the vibe. June for that's compelling. So why you anchor? If you need that, so you're not just gripping or lingering and having a glimpse of it, but still like suspicious. So you can have your culture and everything that is your sense of property. It's becoming a little more multicultural to what the world has. To see the world beyond yourself, the world around you, and that which is unknown. Yeah, that you have anchor. Peace is the best deal. Bye.